Hey everybody, I'm editing the podcast I filmed with George. It was super fun to make, and I just wanted to throw this disclaimer in that when I talk to George, we get super into our conversations. So I talked over him a bit, and he talked over me, and I just wanted to say that I'm trying to get better at podcasting, and he was our first guest. Paris wasn't available, but she will definitely be in the next podcast, as well as we will keep doing guests, and I will try to get better at steering a conversation because I love the stuff we talked about, but it was kind of hard for me to keep us on one topic because we are high, and when you're talking with your friends, you just want to talk about whatever, and that's what we do. And I'm trying to keep it relaxed but also understandable because especially me, George is actually really good at speaking up during this, and I was like, kudos to him, but I just am a natural mumbler, so I had to cut out certain parts because uh, I would start mumbling or it would get off of topic. So it's a little bit different format. I just wanted to throw this in and say that I'm going to get better at it, and stay tuned, and I'll see you, and I love you, and happy Halloween.
Unless I stuck by you, you're the sunflower. I think your love would be too much, or you'd be left in the dust. Unless I stuck by you, you're the sunflower. You're the sunflower. Every time I'm leaving on you, you don't make it easy, no. Wish I could be there for you. Give me a reason to.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Trip City Podcast. I'm Trippy Grim, and we have,
George Nicastro.
with a comma.
Yes.
Alright, so we're going to start this off by taking a rip out of our boy Shrimp. Female, transgender.
Yeah.
Can't really tell.
It's had a
gender
billion.
fluid Shrimp.
It's had a billion different genders. Now it's a female. Just please support it in its transition.
It's a lot.
It happens literally all the time. Mainly because I just forget which one.
You're high every time you're around it. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. All right. You start her off.
And for all those people listening, this took me an hour waiting for this to get. Don't you just love plugs? Don't you just love
I
plugs?
swear to God.
Man? Don't you just love them?
Plugs are the fucking worst. I was telling.
Dude, I used to be a plug.
We've shared a lot of the same plugs, and we were literally talking about the saga of plugs and how like they progressively got better and better, each one that we've gotten. So the first one, it was like on average you'd wait like 2-3 hours, and he'd have you move around all the time. He'd have you meet you at different places, and then the next one was like a little bit faster. It was like 30 minutes to an hour. Now that's
I'd
That's
say
too
an
nice.
hour to 2 hours
yeah,
almost.
hour and 2
Yeah.
hours, and he would be pretty consistent about like what spot to go to at least.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
least you knew where you were showing up.
Yes.
You're like, I'm safe in this area. I could stay on this street for at least 2 hours without a cop rolling by.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And now we've moved on to who is supposedly the best of them.
Yeah.
But of course, I've never picked up from this guy, and I threw some money to Jack, and he went to pick up, and he's had no issue with this guy before. Of course, today of all fucking days.
Today, when me and George come together, boom. Yeah,
It's
problem.
too much for them to handle,
Yeah.
apparently.
I think they got news headlines. They fucking.
They see it on the news.
It's the fluoride.
That's like in Invincible when they're like, oh yeah, we put chemicals in the water so Americans can't see certain frequencies.
Oh, dude, God, that really killed me a little bit. I was dead as fuck.
And like that's probably true.
And
Like
Paris, fuck, not like I believe in it, but
Mhm.
just like it killed me because I know it's an existing part of our culture today.
no, yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's a big thing that people believe in. Like, I don't know
Dude,
if
I totally-
I mean, I could believe it.
I
but
would
I'm
believe
saying,
it. Yeah.
But I'm saying like. Movies since the dawn of time have been saying that fluoride, specifically fluoride now, is the toxic chemical that is being used to control our minds. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but I do believe the fucking government would totally want to control us. I mean,
Yeah.
they already do want to.
Yes.
But
that's
I
true.
mean, you got to worry about social media way worse.
Yeah. That's actually very true. I think, honestly, if I'm threatened by anything that, like, is mind control, it's definitely, like, social media. the vacuum chamber that is your feed or your news or whatever you're looking at.
Yeah, your
is
little
like,
drug, your dopamine
it's
hit every
insane.
morning.
It's a fucking echo chamber.
Can't get out of bed with it.
No.
Yeah.
It's literally all you want to see. You scroll and you see exactly what you want to see. There's no reason to ever get off of your phone in that respect. Aside from obviously like having to do shit. But like in reality, like that's the point, is they want you to spend as much time using their service so they can show you as many advertisements as possible so they can get the most amount of money.
I mean, Google, so Facebook, honestly, for people who don't know this, Facebook could give a more detailed, like if you went to a psychologist and were like, okay, give me a biopsy of like everything, you know, emotional, everything about me. What do I feel? What do I like? Facebook could most likely give a more detailed description of who you are than your therapist. They know a lot about you.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. Have you ever looked at your Google ad preferences before?
Well, here's the thing, is they skim your emails.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they
ridiculous.
fucking skim your emails, dude. Like, what the fuck?
There's no privacy.
I mean,
privacy's like a myth.
at least they're not reading them. But still,
Yeah.
you know, for keywords.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just
it's the same thing.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What the fuck? I mean, that's how I read. I'm reading for an essay or some shit to write, and it's like I'm just skimming. So like, why can't an AI robot do that shit? You know, I don't know.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's really, really sketchy. It's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
I don't know, because like looking at your Google ad preferences, so you can actually see what Google thinks you are, which is it's so funny. Mine was it was accurate in like my interests and stuff because it obviously knows what I search and it's like, okay, well this guy likes, I don't know, Pokemon or something, because it's like he searches shit about Pokemon constantly, so that'll be like one of the top ones. But then they also try to guess your age group, and mine thought I was like something like 35 to 40 or something.
God damn.
Which is just
that's
so
a burn
funny.
on you.
It's yeah, right?
Like,
it's like,
God damn,
Jesus
did I look
Christ.
that shot out? I bet you I get like 50 or 60.
Yeah.
I look shot out, especially with the acne. Dude, drugs are one hell of a thing.
Yeah, you could say that again.
Yeah, but honestly, it's just like stress. I feel like ages me
Oh, yeah.
a lot faster, you know?
I think that's like scientifically proven. That being more anxious, being more stressed takes years off your life, or can.
Oh, it definitely is, yeah.
Because you're putting your body into like its fight or flight mode. I mean, maybe not to that extreme, but like on guard or like ready to defend itself frequently, which is like not ideal.
Because it's crazy, the smallest situations freak me out. Like, in like, interactions at work, like fucking, but like once you get in intense situations, you're like, I'm calm.
Yeah.
This is normal. That's weird. Like how the flip, I don't know why. I think that's probably just a personal thing. But like,
No, I mean, it's like the feeling of leading up to something is way worse than the feeling of doing that thing. Like, if that makes sense.
True, because you're like stewing on it.
Yeah, it's like anticipation. You're just like waiting for it to happen, and it's like that's so nerve-wracking. Because for whatever reason, you have this anxiety about performing, but when it comes to actually like doing what you need to do, it's no problem, like almost all the time. But there's that like 0.01% chance you don't do it right, and that's like the only thing your brain can fixate on.
Yeah.
Your brain is way more able to pick up on or like fixate on
Survival
mental
instincts type situations.
Well, not only that, but like this is gonna sound like I'm gonna sound like the Joker here, but our society has like essentially created an environment where doing something or failing in a performance or like doing something wrong in like an action is a super bad thing, and you want to avoid it at all costs.
Doing what?
Like just doing anything wrong. Like
Well,
you'll get
I mean,
ridiculed.
So, well, yeah, but you talking about like the restraint? I see what you're saying. Like you're saying like the obligation put on you by society, this day and age specifically.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally get it, because it's like, you know, I wouldn't say I lean on either side, but I'd say like there's definitely like when people get on the side of one, they have agendas. You
Yeah.
know? And,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I feel like the followers of those people don't necessarily align completely with the agendas, but they have to say they do because that's what they're like, you know what I mean? That's what their team is about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just don't fuck with either side because they're so radical, bro.
It's well. Also, the other thing is like the only thing you ever see from
I have
either
like
side is-
opinions on each side, and I don't know why anybody else wouldn't.
Most
Because-
people do. That's the
yeah.
thing. The only thing
But they're
is
scared to admit it.
not
Yeah.
only well, it's just that people that have like differing opinions about things in terms of like they're not necessarily entirely left or entirely right is like super normal. I'm pretty sure most people are that way in the sense that like the only thing that you really end up seeing on the news or in media is the far left and far right people because
The people who are rioting in the Capitol, the fucking I'm trying to help you out because I know you're confident like a motherfucker.
Thank
People who are just tearing the city up, the radical.
yeah.
They represent not the whole community.
Mhm.
Is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I
Not only do
agree.
they not like represent them, but they're also like so far and few between, and don't actually represent the opinions of the majority of people that have that opinion. Because a lot of people that like are socially liberal in a sense that they're like,
In
I don't know,
in
they
the
want-
media's presence.
well, not only in the media's presence, but I mean like talking in general, like when somebody is like thinks of social things as like, oh yeah, of course everybody should have rights and everybody should have a home and everyone should have health care and all this stuff. Like that's just thinking about treating people. But there's
Yeah.
also like being
You're thinking of. Okay, I
You-
don't mean to interrupt.
no, you're okay. It's also like being financially conservative. Like you want to have your own money and you want to be able to manage your own money. You don't want to have to pay a ton of taxes on stuff because it's inconvenient, especially when your taxes aren't going towards things you like want.
Like the fucking road. I
Yeah,
swear to God, the road in this town sucks, but keep going.
it always does. Dude.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go, that's the thing about American infrastructure is that it's old as fuck.
And they're
we
just gonna
don't
only
pay-
build what they need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They only repair like one thing because it's broke. But like bridges are
We pay
collapsing
so much
and
taxes,
like
bro.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
insane.
it's crazy.
It's ridiculous. Like if I don't think anyone would have an issue with like taxes getting raised if taxes were going towards things that they supported. But the issue with the government is that it has this weird responsibility to, I don't know. First of all, it's just so polarized now. Like whichever Democrat versus Republican is like insane. I don't like.
I swear to God.
It's so childish in a way. Like obviously it's not because it's like world politics, but like seriously, it's like
even
a
world politics. I guess
or-
it is world politics. It kind of affects the world.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like a pissing match.
Okay.
Like it's so stupid.
Similar
it's become such a pissing
conversation.
match.
How do you feel about socialism? Because I dislike it,
Yeah.
and I'm a supporter of capitalism. We've really
I-
gotten political. After
Yes.
being like we hate politics.
No,
we
yeah.
got so political.
I personally, I think, I don't know. I'd have to update my definition of socialism, but I'm pretty sure that I'm more socialist than capitalist. And the reason being
Okay, you better give me a good reason.
The
for
reason
this,
being
'cause I'm already not
that capitalism allows for situations where the top 1% of the wealth in America, like the wealthiest people in America, have more wealth than the like bottom 99% combined. And I'm pretty sure the fact that somebody like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos can have like billions of dollars, like such an inconceivable amount of money. Like that's 100 million times 10. That is it's so much money, and these people have like 45
Who
or
would you help with
56
that?
billion
Who
dollars.
would you help with that personally? If you could have it completely your way with socialism, like who would you help first?
The people that need it,
Who are the people that need it the most?
like people that are starving or homeless or don't have a
In
good
this
water
country
source.
or in other countries?
I mean, if we're talking about a government change in the U.S.,
Yeah.
than for the U.S. because it makes sense.
Yeah.
And we have the resources to do it.
So
We
you're
just
talking
aren't.
about like homeless people in this country.
Yeah.
So, do you think? Well,
Like I think
you're
there
my
needs-
friend, bro. And
No, I like
I
I
don't want this to get heated at all. And it isn't. We're just chilling. But I disagree with you.
That's okay.
Yeah, and that is okay. Because I do see where you're coming from. Completely. And at one point I might have even thought that way. Maybe like a democratic socialist, but I think capitalism is what keeps us free, bro. I think that's what's made us.
We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll.
The most. What's your major?
I am a Earth and Environmental Science major.
Okay. This is the guy who's gonna save the world, and that's what I'm hoping. So we don't destroy it. We keep mining oil, bro, that we don't even need.
Yeah. It's
Justin
because we just
Trudeau's
have
on
like.
it, isn't he? He's down to do that. Fucking fracking, bro.
Well, unfortunately, we're just gonna like run out of. We've already reached peak oil, which means we're like extracting the most amount of oil that we possibly can from the planet at a time. So, there's like we're past a point of no return in that respect, and also like our entire industry, like the entire industrial revolution was like because of fossil fuels, because we could invent things like cars and like planes and like all this crazy shit that functions off of gasoline. It's hard to imagine a world where we're not going to be able to do that.
Where we're not gonna be able to use gasoline or fossil fuels.
Yeah, because we've developed such a fucking reliance on it. I mean, think about it.
I mean,
think
well,
about
it's
what.
you're right though.
Think
Yeah,
about getting
it's-
from one place to another in the United States. You have to use a car. You like almost
Oh
have
yeah,
to use a car.
we've literally built a society relying
Yes,
on it. Yeah.
exactly. And we literally just don't have to do that.
Yeah.
The only reason that we've done that is because it's just more convenient in a certain sense. But ultimately, in a
What
like
would be more convenient, better?
like ideally you would have more prosperous local communities that actually have enough like resources. Like they have their own parks, they have their own like recreational centers, they have their own governments, and they like they do their own thing in that sense. Where it's like basically you don't wait. I don't remember what we were talking about.
So you want people to live in a little box, bro?
No. That's not at all what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, if people had more things close by, that would just be way better for things in general.
Yeah. Infrastructure is what you're saying.
Yes,
Basically
exactly.
what we were talking about at the
Yes,
beginning.
yes.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you. Yes.
Yeah.
I was just saying that ultimately, like, having more things nearby would just make you less, like, incentivized to use a car. Because you just don't
Yeah.
need to.
Yeah, well,
Like,
that's
you can go to
fair.
work, you can go to the grocery
unless
store.
it was like more of like just a trip or visiting family.
Well, yeah. Like,
I mean,
you
there's
still
so
need
much dispersed. You know what I mean?
And thankfully, we're making electric cars now. Granted, they're still not great because
I
it's
mean,
still a
like-
reliance on cars and
What
the
if we put
road.
a solar panel on top of one?
I don't think that would give enough energy.
I
Which
don't
sucks.
Would it not? Like you could just leave it. Ah, you're right. Because you need a lot of energy
You
because
gotta
it would
charge
go
that fucking
fast.
battery.
Yeah.
Those things fucking. They're making like every car an electric car now, though.
Yeah.
Which is good, but like.
I hope Elon keeps it up though. Even though I think it's gonna destroy this world, I want him to keep going because I'm scared of what he's gonna do.
He's not concerned about this world, dude.
I'm
All
scared
the
of what he's
people with
gonna
over
do.
$1 billion have signed like
I don't
this
know,
thing to
dude.
go off into space.
He's trying to get us to more. Yeah, I don't know if he cares, but
He does not give a fuck,
he
bro.
named
He's
his
so
he
much
named
money.
his kid a weird name, bro. I'm just gonna be honest. That's just
Yeah, what
weird.
the fuck was
What?
that?
I mean, like, do you want the kid to be bullied? Like
That is
yeah.
the only thing that will result of naming that kid that shit.
Yeah, fucking.
He's so what a character of a human being.
Yeah.
He is literally
He's
the
Tony
richest
Stark,
man
bro,
in the
in
world.
real life.
He's the richest man in the world. Did you hear that he sent a giant? I don't know if this actually happened or if he just said he was going to do it, but he said he was going to mail a giant number 2 to Jeff Bezos after passing him
Nah.
on. Like, yeah, Like, are you fucking kidding me? He just has that much money that he can just do that shit.
A giant number 2. Holy shit.
Like, what a dick. And also, he's just such a fucking...
I didn't know
He just tries to play it off by being like a memer. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You're in your... Well, I don't even know how old he is. He's like 40s or 50s. Richest man in the world.
What are you gonna do with
Tweeting fucking dumbass memes.
You definitely support your first argument with the socialist stuff, because he definitely is. He is a memer. You're trying to, like, passes it off. You're totally right, though.
It's just funny.
But I'm glad we're going to Mars. I am glad.
I'm interested to see what happens.
It's a horrible idea, but let's do it.
The thing about space travel, I used to be so into, like, space travel. And, like, I used to... Like, when I was a kid, I had all these fucking astronomy books. I'd look at all the planets and, like, there's so many different solar systems and all this random shit.
Isn't there Alpha Centauri around here?
I have no idea.
There was a planet that was, like, supposed to be research for excavation, but I think, I don't know, maybe. Maybe I misspoke.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
There was some weird asteroid that came through the atmosphere, through
Really?
space recently.
Recently?
It was, like, a year or two ago. It's like this elongated meteorite, and it like went right. It was undetected for a long time. If it had hit the planet, it would have done like a ton of damage. But apparently, it was like, I don't remember if it was moving. Yeah, it was just like going such a specific direction, and it's a rock floating in space. And they were like, "Is that like a living being?" They didn't know. Like, we couldn't get close enough to see.
How about when the government was like, motherfucking, hey, aliens are real.
Oh. Yeah, that shit was nuts, dude. I mean, okay, not really. It's pretty... I honestly don't know, though.
I mean, dude, they
have to exist, obviously,
no, it's
but
impossible for them not to. Like, how...
Statistically, yeah.
It's...
For what we know, the universe goes on forever. Space exists infinitely.
And there's multiple theoretical theories throughout that. Like, there's a theory that we are either already, like, we're the last ones here, or the first ones here, or nothing has happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so fucking...
Like, I seriously doubt that nothing has ever happened besides us. Is that white going in there?
No, I just thought something was flickering. I don't know.
I thought it was too, a little bit.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah?
Yeah.
And,
yeah. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think
it's your fault.
there's, like, no way that we don't get, like, solar panels on every roof. Like, there's just a point where things are just going to start to go horribly wrong. Like, we're just going to see the impacts of climate change. We're already seeing them. There's so many more hurricanes every year, and there's, like, so much more, like, places are flooding and getting record rainfall, like, from all of human existence. It's, like, ridiculous. And so now, like, what's going to happen? So since the Earth, since there's so much fucking water on the Earth and the Earth is warming so much, thermal expansion is happening. So the water is, like, literally expanding. It's just getting bigger because the higher the temperature of the water, it's like...
Is it rising or is it pushing shit away?
I mean, it's rising.
Okay.
So what's going to happen... and pushing shit away. So what's going to happen is, like, Florida... Most of Florida's going to be underwater. Like, so much shit's going to happen.
Makes fucking sense.
It's so sad, dude.
Crazy. It is sad. And, like, especially... And then California. There's fires everywhere, bro.
Yeah, man. And, like, forest fires are normal, but not like that.
And then some people are like, yeah, no climate change. Nothing's going on.
It's ridiculous. I mean... no, it's ridiculous.
No, it's fucking ridiculous, bro. That's crazy.
There was a paper released in, I don't remember, it's like the 70s or the 90s. It was either the, yeah, I think it was the 70s, called Scientists Warning to Humanity. No, I think it was the 90s. It had to have been the 90s. I don't fucking know.
We just gotta quote the zeitgeist.
regardless, like, it was about climate change, and it was like, hey, we're fucking up the planet. And then, no, we're not.
No, we're not.
What are you talking about?
We're doing good.
Look at us.
Look at us. We got tanks on this bitch.
And what do you know? Pretty much everything that we predicted is going to happen is happening.
Yeah. I think it did. Yeah, we were bound to fail once we learned to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised we didn't all kill each other immediately.
Honestly, that's where we get all this fucking political shit. It's the tribal mentality. Not me and you, but I'm saying the people we were talking about originally, like, we're so connected to those values.
True. Facts. Machine.
Tribes.
Called quest.
Fucking. Could I hit that?
Of course you could.
Of course you could.
I could if I would. There's probably one more in there.
Oh, dude, you know what? Let's just take the cigar. I'm gonna hit that cigar.
You can hit the cigar if you want. I'm not in a cigar mood.
I'm down.
We also smoked tobacco out of this.
Have we? No, did we? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I literally was like, wait, what? Yeah. No, totally not. It's all been tobacco. We're totally sober, actually. Those were essential oils. We actually just infused into it.
Infused into the tobacco?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it was really, actually, we should be dead right now. So we just smoked essential oils and tobacco. But hey, we're not. We did it here live, folks.
We did it in live, folks. We actually just put anthrax at that bitch, and we're gonna see what happens. So, man, how are you doing? How's fucking life at Furman? What's new?
I don't
Any
like going to
cool
Furman.
assignments?
No.
No. You were in the sewer for a project.
I was
You were
waiting
like,
in
weren't
creeks
you getting
this summer.
samples for?
Yeah, I was sampling in creeks this summer.
That's pretty cool.
It was fun.
And what was like the thesis?
So, I'm looking to see if there's a trend in nutrient concentrations in high elevation streams versus low elevation streams. So basically, are there more?
Yeah, you're gonna have to break that down.
Is there more chemicals and like chemicals that help things like nutrients that come from soil and like showing erosion?
The plants around.
Yeah, affects the plants around.
And the soil.
Yes.
Okay.
Because way more erosion is happening because way more water is coming through the streams because it like climate change is causing weather to happen a lot more extremely. So
makes sense.
What we're trying to show is that stream nutrient concentration, so the chemicals in the stream from all that shit, are higher in like mountains than they are in like farms in the middle of the state. Other way around. That the farms are higher and like have a lot more of those chemicals than the ones in the mountains. And that's
in the farms?
You
said in the farms?
Yeah, like in the middle of the state. So like a lot lower in elevation.
Yeah.
Versus like in the mountains.
That's where the erosion is.
Yeah, basically the water has traveled a lot longer of a distance because it's come from the mountains all the way down to the middle of the state.
It's taken all that.
So it's taken all that stuff. It's also gone through the ground because there's also groundwater. There's water in all the ground below us. And basically, like, it's saturated. Like, you know how dirt is wet?
Yeah.
That's why. Like, there's water in the dirt. And it's not only when it... Yeah, exactly. Like, when you dig, eventually it's wet.
You know, that's where it starts and it goes all the way from...
Yeah, and there's wells. So how do wells
underwater,
exist? Yes.
Okay, it makes sense. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. So basically...
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And so basically... No, it's like, when I learned that shit, because I didn't know that until like 2 years ago, I was like, what the fuck? That makes so much sense. I don't know why I've never thought of
It's
that.
logical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like something you'd never think about. And there's entirely different systems depending on, like, groundwater goes all the way up mountains. So like where streams come out of mountains, it's like groundwater. It's water coming out of the ground and flowing into the stream.
Hell yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is
And
crazy.
obviously the water builds up from rain and all this shit because like eventually it absorbs it. Like the soil absorbs the water. Like it doesn't stay wet forever after it rains. Obviously it dries up. Not only because of the sun, but because it sucks down into the dirt.
I can literally see a textbook like example of this
Right?
in my head.
Right?
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to go into. I want to fucking do work with water. Like I don't know, just making sure that it's clean and that like if shit's happening, what's happening, why it's happening. So I'm specifically looking into by streams. You know how any stream you go to, like in a forest, any stream you go to in a forest has like vegetation around it. You know, like there's a stream and then there's like trees and plants and stuff. There's usually a lot more stuff growing by the stream because there's water right there. But that's called the riparian zone. And basically what that does is it takes up a ton of nutrients from the water in the ground. And basically, because of climate change, because there's a lot more chemicals in the water, it's having effects on these zones. Because the zones normally act as a buffer so that like there's not a ton of shit in the water, so it doesn't kill like the fish and everything. Because like fish have really particular conditions they have to be in.
Right.
So basically, we're seeing if there's a difference in if the root systems of the plants basically we're seeing if the plants by the streams have a difference in them based on the actual elevation they are in the state. So like the lower elevation streams where there's a lot more nutrients because it's gone a lot further down the state, because they're like
And that's the
because there's a lot more.
farmland.
Yeah, that's the farmland.
That's crazy
And how
that
it's
it affects
affecting
them and their crops.
and how it affects them and the like forest area around them. Because no forest in South Carolina is like in what's called an old growth forest, which means it's been here for like hundreds of thousands of years. Or I think old growth is like thousands of years or something. But like a new growth forest means it's only been around for like the past 100 years. Because when when Europeans came over here, or when we settled here, we fucking logged the entire state.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah, because there were ginormous trees. You know how there are, what are they called? Redwoods in California?
Yeah, cedar kind of forest, different, like really strong trees.
Yeah, and there were these.
Old.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there were these trees that were almost as big as those that were in South Carolina, like all along the mountains in Tennessee and South Carolina. I forget what they're called. It's
Tennessee,
something.
yeah. I mean, don't
'Cause
they
the
get a lot of
Smoky
snow
Mountains.
too? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so there's a ton of those trees, or there were a ton of them, but we delogged them, and they take forever to grow. So like a redwood does. A redwood takes hundreds of years to grow.
Fucking,
It's crazy, dude.
it's crazy too.
It's so cool to learn how that shit works because there's literally an infinite amount of shit to learn about.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
feel like we
planet,
haven't
dude.
even scratched the surface.
Oh yeah.
And there's so much out there. I'm talking about in space, and then there's so much here. It's like we could sit on this planet and just dig and dig and dig and never find out the full scope of everything in the ocean. You know what I mean? Like to the depths.
Yeah.
How deep it goes. You know, like we don't know.
We don't know
We're-
fucking jack shit.
We're discovering species every fucking day. We still have, like, there's probably, if a motherfucker could walk into the rainforest and find
Yeah.
a random new species, I feel like. It's so diverse.
It's because the conditions for like species to evolve and grow are so particular. So like the Amazon has been around for a really fucking long time. And the fact, it's so sad that we're like cutting down so much of it. But
Just for some fucking coffee tables. I
yeah,
feel
dude,
like.
it's
You
so
know?
fucking annoying. And it's like killing, we kill like, we don't even know how many species we kill because there's so many like microbial species we don't know about. and there are also like a ton of super specific, like had to be in this one tree in the Amazon forest or something. Like, we don't know, because definitely invincible.
Yeah, dude, that shit is so good. If y'all don't know, it's a comic book series where it's just really interesting. It's got Stephen Young from, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
From Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, so talented. He really plays that character too.
Yes.
It's really deep, and it gets very graphic, and it's refreshing. I don't know, from a comic book series to be that adult.
Yeah, I just think they do a really good job with it, considering, like, I don't know. I think gore in shows is not always, like, necessary, or, like, it's kind of annoying, because it's like, alright, well, we get it. But with this, I think it's, like, definitely means something, or, like, has a reason, and, like, provides, like, a super dramatic effect. I don't know.
And
Whereas, like, in
also-
other things, it's like, okay, did that really need to happen? Whereas in this, like, sure, there might be moments like that, but
It is weirdly satisfying too.
you think
It's a
so?
release. Yeah.
Well,
and
I
for certain people, it definitely is. Like,
Yeah.
it is for me a little bit, but I feel like people even further than me, I enjoyed a little bit, but like some people watch ISIS beheadings.
yeah,
I've met people who are like, this really relaxes me. I'm like, I don't understand it, but that you do you kind
Yeah.
of thing, you know what I mean? Like, they like watch it to relax.
Damn.
Yeah.
that's crazy. I mean, yeah, people are programmed differently, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
so wild.
And like look it up on Reddit. And
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I did that as a kid, but that's just because I didn't like
One of my-
understand what it was.
One of my coworkers came up to me one day and was like, "Hey, look at this," and it was a video of a guy in Mexico, a white guy in Mexico, and they were feeding, like they had him completely stripped naked with his hands behind his back, and the dog was ripping his junk off.
Oh,
And I was like, "Bro, you just walk up to me and show me that,
oh
bro."
God,
Yeah,
that is brutal.
I was like,
Yeah.
And then I like thought about it for months. I was like,
The worst thing. No, I don't want to talk.
it was a
about
group of Mexican people. I was like, holy shit, what is this situation? Like, one white dude, like, he had to do something fucked up, I hope. Like, yeah. I was like,
That's so fucked.
Yeah.
That's like.
I would
fucking-
hope there's justice behind this, but even then it's fucked up.
Yeah, there's this Reddit page I follow that's like a cartel page, and occasionally there will be shit that'll pop up that's like people were like some video of somebody getting shot or something. But like the other thing too is when I was a teenager, like when I was in high school, I would go on this, what's it called? There's this Reddit 50/50 was what it's called.
Dude,
Have you ever-
it's crazy you bring that up. Yeah, that all.
It was banned.
You were banned?
No,
Why?
it was banned. The
Oh.
subreddit was banned. Like there's nothing.
Makes sense in a way, but I don't know. There was something weird to it, and honestly, like, if I was like doing YouTube back then, I would still record a video of that because it's so interesting to like watch. When I would watch people do it on YouTube as well. Like, I would do it myself, but then I would watch other people's reactions, and their reactions are like the same. They're like, what the fuck is this? Like I don't know. I feel like you gotta be a special person to like watch. Not special. It's like your own kind of person to like really love the gory shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely agree. I think there are some people that think it's too much, which is like, I get it. There are other people that are like, okay, like I understand why this is used.
Yeah, I mean, we're already like such a violent community. I feel like I don't know.
Well, it's also like it is an outlet for people, because it's like, I don't know. I don't think of it that way for myself, but I think of it in a way like some people see it as satisfying or whatever in that sense. Which, granted, okay, to be fair, I guess I do feel it's a little satisfying in a way, just because I kind of hate how superhero movies don't like I don't know, when somebody dies or when somebody gets really hurt or something, they don't look like they're fucking hurt at all. I don't know. It just, or they do, but it's just like they're just beat up. And it's like you would definitely have a hole in you, or like you know, like.
And you can emotionally see him hurt.
Yeah.
You can like really see him in that show of being like getting PTSD almost.
No, exactly, and you can't like. Oh my gosh, the fucking backlash that he. Well, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but just like, imagine the emotional toll that would have on somebody. Like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just appreciate that they actually bring like mortality into it, and it's like
a human element.
Yeah, exactly. It's way more
humanized.
There's a lot more at stake,
yeah.
and there's way more. Yeah, exactly.
And we empathize with that character because they're more realistic. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're not this god, invincible god.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. That's why I like a lot of Marvel characters too.
Yeah.
Stan Lee like put a lot of personality in them.
No, yeah, I still really love the Marvel movies.
No, I totally get you. No, I was just like kind of connecting that, like they get personal, but I also don't like how they don't like we were talking about before, the gory element only exists in certain elements of Marvel, like Deadpool, or some shit like that, you know.
Yes.
All right, any past remarks
About Invincible?
Invincible? Anything? Wrapping it up.
Wrapping her up.
Isn't that right, Cook? Entrance.
It's been a pleasure. This has been a blast.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me on.
Definitely gonna do it again.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, this was so much fun, and we'll have to do it again. And I'm very excited for the next time.
Hell yeah, man! All right, stay tuned. This is George St. Castro, Jack Moore, signing off.
Peace.
Good man. Hell yeah.